All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Welcome to another great LEDAM event. Today we have a very VIP guest from Tijuana, Mexico. I am Amalia Moreno Damgard, LEDAM's board member and programs co-chair. I want to thank and welcome all of you. And also we have two guests, Sierra Captain, an FCSP member, and also Irene Moore. Welcome, Sierra and Irene. Welcome to our group today. Before we begin with our program, we want to remind you of our upcoming events, and I'd like to invite my co-chair, Amy Brown, to share about two upcoming events, Coffee and Camaraderie, and an event that we are planning at Urban Roots as well. So Amy, please take it away.
Great. I know I just made them into the newsletter, but so you may be aware that the 19th, which is a Wednesday, we're going to do our second installation of Coffee and Camaraderie. Our first ever Coffee and Camaraderie, as you know, was an introduction to our new members. We had a nice lineup of new members for 2021. So it was sort of a meet and greet, welcoming the new members. This time around, maybe not quite as structured. We do want to catch up as much as we can, just the goings on. And again, hopefully we'll have a nice mix of folks, and we'll talk a little bit, just more meet and greet. We're going to talk a little bit about our anniversary party, just a little, few minutes of our time on the 19th to chat about and brainstorm a bit about what is the 25th anniversary of the Twin Cities, Minnesota chapter of LEDAM. So hopefully you guys can make it for that. Those of you, spread the word. We'll also have more details then on our June 10th event, which is at Rivoli Bluff, which is the main farm of Urban Roots. I've never been there, so I'm excited to get a tour. We'll have more details on that when we talk on the 19th, but that again is June 10th in the evening. We have our start time at 5:30 that night. And Coffee and Camaraderie again will be at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on the 19th. So hope to see you guys there for either or both. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Amy. Now I'd like to invite Andy Bidwell. I don't want to put you on the spot. Do you want to talk a little bit about our pizza salad fundraising event? Is that okay?
I don't have my files with me. I'm at my son's house tonight. I can tell you that at our last event, we raised about $2,250, I think, something like that, Lois, right? And that was
I'm trying to pull it up.
That was for the spring dinner. So that's the first we've let people know how much we earned from that. So that was another good event for us. And the pizza in a box event is coming up in July. And I think it's July 18th. I don't have any files with me, but you can look at the newsletter and find the date there. So that's pretty much all I've got for you tonight.
Well, thank you very much.
Andy,
Yeah.
you made $2,280 on the last dinner, if all the expenses are in. The invoice is paid, and I think that's all the expenses.
So we did, so the reason why it's a little higher than what I said was we got, Lois helped me out, $38 from Kristen Olson's twin sister.
Right.
She sold her soap products from her business, and she donated 10% of her proceeds to our group.
Right.
So that was just a nice add-on.
And you sold 45 dinners.
And we did.
Yeah. You did 45 dinners, and then the plus the $33 from Kim, which was nice.
Yep.
Andy, anything else you want to share?
Nothing else.
And I'll also like to share that we will be also having a summer Italian wine dinner at Sovereign States with our very own Joan Donatel. She will be cooking and presenting, and that is on August 18th. I don't remember if you mentioned that, Amy. If you did, I apologize. So all these events, some of them are already on the website, so you can go there for further details, and the other ones will go there in the next few weeks or so. And then last but not least, I'd like to invite Marilyn Tauscher, our membership co-chair, to make some announcements.
Yes, well, my big announcement is we have another brand new dom, Jo Seddon. And many of you may remember her because she was a chef that did our first fabulous French dinner for two fundraiser last year. And that was another really successful dinner. Too bad Audrey isn't here. She is the one that recommended Jo, and she'll also be her mentor. I did forward our main newsletter to Jo, so she would get that right away, and did invite her to the Coffee and Camaraderie because that was such a great meeting that our program people planned. And it was so nice to hear not only from the new members, but I learned a lot about the old members as well. So I thought that was a great format. An hour was perfect. So thanks to you both for coming up with that. So we've got 52 members now.
Ooh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
Well, thank you everyone for all these updates and announcements. We have
May I say something?
yes.
Joan was also a recipient of a micro grant, which helped her set up her catering business. So Ladam's was part of that, which was great that we, with the micro grant, we were able to help her set up her catering business.
Wonderful. Before we begin, thank you for that. I'd like to share some Zoom viewing tips so you enjoy the presentation more. I know that Paulina is going to be sharing some slides. So I'd like to ask you to turn off your video, turn off your microphone, select gallery view, hide non-video participants, go down to the video icon and click the arrow on the side, and then select video settings. Then scroll down to hide non-video participants and make sure that the box is checked. Now you should be able to see Paulina's screen as soon as she shares her screen. All right, Cindy, before we begin, I didn't mean to leave you out. Do you want to share anything?
Thank you, Amalia. No problem at all. Welcome to everybody, to our two guests, Sierra and Irene. And Paulina, I'm looking forward to hearing your presentation and someday tasting your beer. So thank you.
I know that she's planning to send it to us as soon as she's able to. And for those of you who don't know, Paulina had offered to send beer to us, but the border is closed to non-essential travel. So it'll have to wait until the border is open, and then, we will enjoy it then. And then, of course, hopefully we can connect with Paulina. So thank you, Cindy. All right, so now I'd like to introduce our special guest and our speaker, Paulina Perea Eguia. Can you say that very quickly, twice? Paulina Perea Eguia. I have a hard time, and I speak Spanish. Paulina is co-founder of Olvera Brewing, and it's a woman-owned artisan brewery in Tijuana, Mexico, with a very interesting story. Paulina is a native of Tijuana and an engineer and renewable energy graduate, Universidad Autonoma in Baja California. She is currently working on her master's in engineering sciences with an emphasis on the environment, and she's pursuing a brewing UCSD certification as well. I'd like to share with you that I met Paulina through Global Minnesota, through a program for entrepreneurs from around the world that is sponsored by the US State Department. She was a participant of that. Then she was part of a panel of women entrepreneurs, virtual speakers from Latin America and Europe last year. And I heard her speak, and we connected then. So thank you, Paulina, for for agreeing to speak today. And what we're going to do today is we're just going to have a casual conversation. We are going to ask you some questions, or I am going to ask you some questions, and we will go from there. So let's begin. Q&A, we can leave it on until the end, but if you have a burning question, you can raise your hand, and then we can, or just ask the question, and I'm sure Paulina will be happy to answer it. So Paulina, tell us about your childhood, your family life, your dad, your mom, where you were born and raised. So we'll start with that question.
Hi, first of all, thank you for having me. Well, I was born here in Tijuana, actually. My childhood was kind of messy, if you must say, because I lived first in Tijuana, then Hermosillo, Querétaro, Morelia, Villahermosa, Tabasco, then Morelia, Los Mochis, and Tijuana again. So it was a lot of places in a short period of time. I believe that made me just grateful because I, well, learn about my own culture. I tried many things that may give me an insight of what was going on in Mexico and make me appreciate my culture and my country as well. I know almost every single state here in Mexico, and and that gave me that kind of like willing to travel more. So that was kind of the good part. Of course, the bad part is that you make friends, but then in 1 or 2 years you're gonna have to say goodbye to them. My dad used to work at Coca-Cola, and it has a lot of facilities here in Mexico, so he had to visit often, so we had to move. And yeah, that was pretty bad. My family really taught me to try everything, new things. So I fall in love with the gastronomic kind of part of Mexico, and from many places. So I just, when I go to a place, I like to eat everything I can from that place and get outside my comfort zone. So yes.
That's great. I can't say that I have been to all the states in the US, so that's impressive. Yeah, that's quite an accomplishment, and that is my goal one day. So thank you for that. When and how did you become interested in brewing artisan beer? Tell us about the beer kinds that you make.
Okay, well, I was in university. I drank a lot of our craft beer back in the day. Well, today as well, but not as much. And I am really curious about everything. So I wanted to know how beer was actually made. And right now, well, that was kind of like the part where when I was like, okay, I want to make beer, but I knew that I didn't want just make it. I wanted to make a business out of it. So I part the owners of the Caesar, like you're seeing right now, and we made this beer from the Caesar restaurant, the one who invented the Caesar salad. If you didn't knew, but Caesar salad was invented in Tijuana. You can actually see one of the pictures that we pair the beer with the salad itself. Actually, it was made that way so you can enjoy the beer with the salad, and it's a perfect pair. So yeah, and we are right now we are making two styles of beer. I have actually the bottles here. This is the amber one, the amber ale, It's an actually English style. I really like English style beer because it's more balanced between the malt and the hops. So that's why we created this beer, and because it's more like more classic, yeah, a classic style of beer. And the other one, it's right here. It's a blonde ale. This one. And what I like of where of my of the labels of the beer is because I love history, and we could actually put some kind of like a fragment of Tijuana history in every bottle. So if you are actually drinking beer, but you are learning a little bit of Tijuana.
Great. I love history too and culture. So that's wonderful. What is the meaning of Olvera Brewing to you and the community? And what is the impact? If you like to talk about the history, I
Yes.
love to hear about history, culture connected to your business.
Yeah, actually, Olvera started because we wanted to embrace the Tijuana history that not many people know. As Tijuana is 130 years old, it's actually a lot younger than many cities here in Mexico because, well, like Morelia is, I believe, is like 600 years old, and many other cities are at that old. So we wanted to make sure that people knew that Tijuana is just not for having fun. It's kind of what one part of it, but it has history too. So Olvera actually comes from the last name of a businessman and a lawyer called Agustin Olvera. And actually the main plaza of Los Angeles, well, not the main plaza, but Olvera Street and Olvera Plaza in Los Angeles is called after him. So he incentivized the trading between Baja California and California, and he was actually the first judge of LA County back in the 1800s, the last of the 1800s, and with him, Tijuana passed to be just a 50 people town to be to almost 1,000. And actually the main street here in Tijuana was called after him. Right now it's called Revolucion. Actually, if you come here, I really hope you do. The Caesar's restaurant is in the Revolucion Street. So and it was called Olvera in the 1920s. Yes.
And there's a lot of history there. So about the community, how do you connect with the community?
Well, we really like to like tell this history, and we are also part of another brand that is called Dos California Brewsters, that where we brew once a year a big batch of beer, and we sell it through bars, restaurants, and in a big festival that we have here in the region called Ensenada Beer Fest. So we collect all the money, and we give scholarships to women from the Instituto Tecnológico de Tijuana, and that are part of the Galgo Beer Club. That it's a group that brews beer just in a smaller scale, and we have been done that since 2018. So yeah, that's kind of like the part of the community to join women and to brew together, because there are actually not so many women that brew, that actually make the beer, and that actually are business owners of a brewery.
So how many women business owners are currently making craft beer in Mexico?
In Mexico, I don't have the exact data, but it's about 20 at most, you know.
Very-
And here in Tijuana, we are just two, and
Okay.
that's it.
Wow, that's great. So what challenges are you experiencing in your industry being a woman-owned beer, in craft beer business?
I believe that the most challenge are just like physical ones, because you have to have the knowledge actually to make the beer. I believe that beer is actually kind of like how do you say it, like harder to make any other kinds of alcoholic beverage, because you have to be really careful when you're making it, and be really clean about it, because if you have some bacteria happening, it can contaminate your whole batch, instead of wine, where you can actually put just like an open space, and that's it, because you ferment it with just like wild yeast. It's kind of but it's for all of us, like brewers. And for women, I believe that is just like the physical part, because of course carrying a keg that is like 130 pounds, or carrying a bag of malt that is like 55 pounds, it's quite hard. And when you are in this industry, of course, that you are kind of like low budget, so you don't have the necessary help that you need, so you have to do it yourself.
So what challenges do you see as a woman in a male-dominated industry? What have you experienced?
Well, that men have their doubt when you are like you know saying that you want to make beer, or that you are making beer, and they don't invite you as much as their friends to the events, or they saw you like just a teeny tiny business that it's never gonna grow up. So yeah, that's kind of like the sad part of it.
Do you think you're jealous?
I don't know, but I feel it that way sometimes. Not with all the men, but with some, yes.
I know that you are so you are supporting a sustainable business. What changes have you
Yeah.
made to have a more sustainable business?
Okay, so we started to reuse the malt that we used to make the beer. We started to make charcoal, so we in the future we can use it to create activated charcoal, to use it in the filters of the water. Another thing that we optimized the electricity and the water usage to low down or hydrate water print water no or water footprint, sorry, your water footprint and our carbon footprint. Actually, I am making this is kind of my thesis, because I am measuring the carbon and water footprint of the craft beer here in Tijuana, and we are the lowest ones. So the medium is like 500 kilograms, about 1,000 pounds of carbon dioxide per hectoliter, or per 2 kegs of beer. And we are in the lowest rate, that is 100 kilos, or 200 pounds, more so, yeah, of that. And with all the las medidas, the measures that we created, we were able to accomplish this.
So how is that connected to your, I know you will be pursuing UCSD certification. Is that connected to what you're talking about, or is that something different? Because there's a lot of chemistry, right, in that certification.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, actually, I actually really like the UCSD certificate program. well, I was telling you that beer has a lot of chemistry involved, and I really like chemistry. And as an engineer, I really like to optimize all the all the factors of making beer. So you can actually say that those are not correlated, properly correlated, are more general. But if you study both, you can actually make a great beer with a lot less environmental impacts.
Great. How has the pandemic affected your business? And what have you done to overcome the challenges?
Actually, it was pretty funny because when we just started this pandemic about March, we were really worried because we had all the fermenters full of beer, and we didn't knew how we were gonna sell it. And but at the same time, there was a shortage of beer, of commercial beer. Modelo, Tecate, Sol, Corona, everything was a shortage. So it gave us this possibility to sell all the beer to the people that wanted beer. And we started to sell it in these large vessels that we call caguamas, are about a half a gallon of beer, and people bring in the basils, and we just give them new ones filled with beer, and we just carry this business, and we were sold out within 2 weeks. So that was amazing. Something that last us about 2 months was sold out in 2 weeks because of this shortage. And many other breweries had the same kind of like funny happening where people were coming with garrafon, I don't know what you call it, but they were like 5 gallons vessels, and they went to the breweries to get it filled. So yeah, that was kind of like funny thing that happened last year on the
Yeah,
pandemic.
we call them either jugs, depending on
Jugs.
size, and they're also growlers.
Oh yeah. Well, it was kind of more like a jug, a
Mhm.
5 gallon jug. Yeah. And that happening motivate us to grow, and we had two options, like invest like $200,000 that we didn't have in making the brewery bigger, or we could just send or recipe and make it kind of more industrial in bigger fermenters, and that's what we opted to. That's why we right now have the bottles ones, and it's actually great because we can actually have this certified, and we can sell it everywhere we want it. And it actually has our essence because it's the same recipe.
So some good things came out from the pandemic. It gave you the
Yeah,
opportunity to sell more beer, and
exactly.
also probably to create more brand awareness because of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
And
exactly.
so what plans do you have to expand beyond Tijuana? I know that you are right now moving to another um, location. You wanted to
Yeah,
give a
the
tour,
tour. Yeah.
you couldn't do that. So what are your plans for expansion?
We're currently moving our pilot plant, that as we call it right now, so we can create new recipes. And in the future, we want, well, right now we are in 12 restaurants actually, and in the future we want to start selling at Yucatan. It's more like in the Caribbean, nearby Cancun, and we have a business opportunity there. And once we get the labels and everything certified, we can actually start seeking a broker so you can have the beer in the States. First, I believe it's gonna be just California, but who knows? Just expand next year to sell more beer in the United States. Yeah, that's kind of like the big picture that we have right now.
Yes, do please let us know when you
Yeah,
start expanding in the US, because we will definitely support you.
thank you
So
very much. You're gonna be the first ones to know.
thank you. So I know that you have a co-founder. Can you tell
Yeah,
us about your partner?
it's Julian Plasencia.
Mhm.
It's my uncle. Yeah, so we associate to create this beer, and we started in 2018. It was his idea actually to name it Olvera. Yeah, he really likes Tijuana and he really likes history too. So he read about the Tijuana history, kind of like the hidden Tijuana history, and he created the brand and came up to with the name itself. Yeah.
Great, great. So we're gonna take a pause here, and we're gonna take some questions. What questions do we have from our members and from our guests? We like questions.
Yeah.
This is Cindy, and I'm wondering, the Global Minnesota Connection, can you two talk about that some more? My husband and I have been members of Global Minnesota for several years, and probably 30 years back when it was Minnesota International Center before it changed its name. And we're dinner hosts for guests from other countries to help make the world a little bit smaller and get to know other cultures. So I find it fascinating that that's one of the ways that you two met, you and Amalia, Paulina.
Yeah,
So can you?
I can tell you my experience in Global Minnesota, and then I'll ask Paulina to tell you about the program and how she got connected with them, because it's quite interesting that they're doing this. But as you know, Global Minnesota is it's in a lot of different types of activities connected to with our government, the State Department, to be more specific. One of them is called Global Ties. I have been working with Global Minnesota for a long time in different capacities. I've partnered with them for their gala. I have provided food culture education about Latin America. I have hosted them at the Midtown Global Market when I had a space there. I have also hosted people that have come from other countries in the visitors program. And then another connection is we're partners with my group, Women Entrepreneurs of Minnesota, which I co-founded. And we have for 4 years in a row, we have hosted the International Visitors Leadership Program, which is a totally different program that what Paulina is involved in. But this is a group of variety of diplomats and the creme de la creme from around the world that they host every year through the State Department. They bring them to the States, and there are groups of anywhere between 40 and 50 men and women from various backgrounds, political, state, manufacturing, you name it. But it's the best of the best that they invite. And the purpose is for them to tour the United States and learn from entrepreneurs, learn from manufacturers, and learn from, in general, about business. American business, that is. And they start in Washington, D.C., and from there, they set up an itinerary for them. They visit key states every time, the different groups that come every year. And most of the time, they come here to Global Minnesota, because Global Minnesota is a key player. And I don't know if you know this, Cindy, but Global Minnesota has sister chapters in other states. One of them, a major one, being in Atlanta, which I follow as well. But they are very active as well. So they do a lot of wonderful things, and for my business, I fit right in with culture, education, and I just love it. And Mark Ritchie is a good friend of mine, even when he was Secretary of State, and now he's the president of Global Minnesota, and he's doing a great job expanding Global Minnesota into higher, higher grounds. So I'll let Paulina tell you about her experience with the program that she's part of, because she's a fellow and a member now of Global Minnesota.
Yeah, well, I was elected between, I don't know how many women here in Mexico in 2028, actually. And I was a participant in the IBLP program in 2019, sorry, 2019. And we were a group of 22 women from all around the world, Serbia, Hungary, Argentina, and everything. And we, as Amelia said, we started in Washington, and then we went to Charlotte, Minnesota, Kansas, and then New York. It was an amazing opportunity that we got us connected with Global Minnesota, and with many people from all around the states. Was an amazing experience, as all the traveling, all the food that we had to taste, all the people that we get to know. And it was I was actually the youngest one back in that day, and everybody was like my big mom, always telling me, wear a scarf, wear your jacket and everything. I was like, okay, mom. Yeah, but I actually, we're close friends with all the women, and when we have an accomplished in our lives, we share it, and it's quite nice that we actually care about each other, and that we actually cheer, not just like hypocritically. I don't know how you hipocritamente how you say it, but as from the heart, and that was a really great experience for me, and I was really blessed that I had it.
So Paulina, this year, that program also brought people from all over Latin America and Europe, and I hosted a cooking demonstration for them from my kitchen. So that was the group that came after you.
Oh.
But after that, I asked my group from Women Entrepreneurs of Minnesota, the board, to join us, and we had a very wonderful exchange with the young entrepreneurs from all over. We were so impressed by their experience, by their drive, how articulate they were, and it was really amazing.
Yeah, it's a really great opportunity to be in that kind of program, because all of the stuff that I mentioned before, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and you did say that you've been to Minnesota, right?
Yeah, I was in Minnesota. I was on Red Rooster, one of the highlights of my journey there. Yeah. I had a burger. And I was in St. Paul, Minnesota too, and we went to the Mall of America. It was the biggest mall I have ever visited in my life. Yeah. It was a pretty great I was in the meal. I don't know, I don't remember, but the explosive meal in Minneapolis. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know about it, but it has like a museum and everything. It exploded, I believe, in early 1900s. I don't know, and I really like it. I like the bridges in downtown that goes between buildings. That was amazing. Yeah, and actually that was the first time that I see that snow I have been in many cold places, but never seen the snow before. Yeah, so it was like a great part of it too, and
Wow.
all the meetings with Glow of Minnesota, that was actually pretty great. We have like this kind of like party when we encounter many people, many experiences, that many cultural exchange. That was really great part. I actually between Minnesota and New York, those both were my favorite cities to visit actually.
Great. I don't know anything about this museum that you mentioned. Maybe the members or guests know about this exploding. It exploded.
Yeah,
Exploded.
exploding meal museum, the most explosive museum in the world, I believe that they call it.
Oh,
It's
the
near,
Mill City.
yeah,
Museum.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Mill
Yeah,
City,
put it
yeah,
in the chat. Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm. What other questions do you have?
Paulina, what's your favorite beer that you've had, or like what's your favorite brewery you've been to anywhere in the world?
Anywhere in the well, I really like Ballast Point, and they were bought by Modelo, well, Constellation Brands, like 5 years ago, but they are now independent again, and they have really great beer. It's in San Diego. I was in a brewery in Minnesota, if I remember correctly. They had a really great beer. I cannot remember the name right now, so sorry. And another one from here from Mexico, Insurgentes, has really great beer. If you might try, I believe that they sell in the States, if I am not wrong. And another one is called Hercules. I really like sours. I love sours. That's like an acquired taste. And anything with guava, tangerine, what else? Any fruity? Yeah, I love it. Yes.
More questions?
Paulina, I've got a question. This is Kristen. Can you tell us a little bit about the style of beer that you brew, and like if you have a couple of varieties, or maybe there's like some seasonal ones that you come out with?
Right now, with the industry, we are making just two, the amber ale and the blonde ale. And actually, it's kind of like a funny story, because when we started, we call it like by their name, that is English bitters. It's an ordinary bitter and a strong bitter, but the word bitter was like kind of like a suggestion in the minds of the customers, and they thought that it was really bitter, and they are not. Just it's just the name, but English style beers are more like the malty and hoppy is just like balance. So we are just making these two, and we actually have a more recipes that we are trying to well, we're trying to introduce. We have a stout too, English stout. Yeah. We have another one that is a goose, I believe. Well, we call it gose. It's like kind of like a sour, but it has a little bit of salt, and it comes from the France Germany region. And another one that we are actually making right now is the brown ale, and it's another English style of beer. Yeah, we really like to create something that anyone can enjoy, something unique but more balanced, that anyone can enjoy with almost anything, you know.
So I have encouraged Paulina to join LDI Mexico.
Yeah.
I think she would be a great fit. And she's very excited. She's gonna look into it right now. She's busy with her master's, and you complete that in August, right?
Yeah.
Paulina?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish in August. Yeah.
So I want to share with you that Paulina put her contact information in the chat for those of you who might be interested in connecting with her.
I'm gonna
And
put it again.
so, connecting with her on Facebook and Instagram, and her email is there as well. So feel free to connect with her if you have questions.
Actually, right now.
Say that again.
I'm writing everything because I send it to you as a private message.
Yes. Oh, that's right. Any more questions? So it's interesting that you mentioned Caesar salad. I've known for a long time that it's Mexican, but most people, and I shouldn't say most people, many people think that it's Italian
Yeah, I know.
because of the ingredients. But it's definitely Mexican.
Yeah, it's actually many people that go there are like, really, this is Mexican, this is from Tijuana, and we're like, yeah. And we they tell, well, the waiters tell them the story of the Caesar, of how it was made and everything. I actually know the recipe for the Caesar salad. It's really it's not that complicated, but it has a lot of ingredients, and you have to mash it properly, because it can cut. It made the oil and the other ingredients not fuse properly. So yeah, and it's kind of like a really great part of the history of Tijuana. Yeah.
Mhm. Yes, I knew that. And I wonder how different our Caesar salad here in the States is from the original. Do you know?
Yeah, actually, the original recipe doesn't have chicken at all. Yeah, you can ask for it, but it doesn't have any chicken. Well, the legend goes by the Caesar salad was invented in 1916, when there was like the prohibition era in the States, and many people came here to celebrate 4th of July. So the Caesar restaurant, it was not in the same location. They started to, they run out of food. So for aviators from the war, they say like that, right? And they came and asked for food, and Cesar Cardini remember a salad that his mom used to make when he was back in Italy. So he brought everything together and made the salad, and they love it. And the first name of the Caesar salad was actually Aviator salad. And 10 years later, they changed the name to Caesar salad, because they told you it is your salad, you know. And actually, Wally Simpson was the one who recreated all around the world, because she loved it so much. She asked the chef to write it down in a paper, so she could ask another chefs around the world to recreate the salad, and that's how became world famous because of her.
Any other questions for Paulina?
Paulina, this is Lois. My question is, where did you get all your equipment to start your brewery? Were there like local areas where you could get some of the tanks and everything you needed, or did you have to import them?
Some were the main basils, the Lauderton, the kettles are from here, from Mexico, but the fermenters are from imported from the States. They're called SS Brewtech, So yeah, they're from the States. They were cheaper actually that buying here, and a greater quality too.
Thank you.
Dead silence.
I have
Yeah.
another question. For your recipes, so did you start like with very small batches, or how did you get to the point where you said, oh, this is a good recipe for this beer and we will, go larger? How do you develop a recipe for beer?
Like literally crying out loud now. Well, yeah, kind of. First of all, well, I made just a small batch, about 60 liters, or I don't know, 15 gallons in the US system. And then we were just like trying and trying and trying. We made up like this base, because well, when you brew, you have two kinds of malt: the base malt and the specialty ones. The base malt give you most of the sugars, and the specialty ones give you like color, taste, and kind of like aromatic feels. So you have to put it all together and measure things that you just have to have some outcome flavors that you want, and just read read a lot the styles that you are trying to make, and then just get the malts and just play with the amounts that you are gonna put in the mash. So that's kind of like try and error all the time, and you just gotta, well, at least you just gotta be certain that it has no defects, as in no acidity, no egg rotten kind of like aroma, no cardboard kind of like a mouth sensation. And when you hit that point, then you can start to make the proper arrangements through recipe. And when you found one that you like and the people like, then you can outgrow it. But actually, it's kind of funny, because when you're brewing smaller batches, it has some flavors, and when you grew it, you have to adapt your recipe again, so you can actually have the same flavors and the same colors that you had when you were brewing in a smaller scale. Yes.
Thank you.
Any more
I
questions?
have a question. Paulina, you said that, this is Irene. You
Yeah.
said that the beer would be available in the United States next year, you think, and probably in California. Is that right?
Yeah, because it's easier for us to just move it through California, because there are actually many, I believe you call it brokers or something, that sell Tijuana beer in San Diego and in Los Angeles. So we can just grow from there.
Thank you.
Any more questions? I think that we are about almost 7:30, that this is perfect.
Yeah.
If there are no more questions, I want to say thank you, Paulina, for joining us today. We really appreciate that you took the time to join us. And please, if you're back in Minnesota, let us know and come visit us. I'll certainly.
With a 6-pack of beer.
Yeah, that would be nice. And I will stay in touch with you for sure, because we may coincide at another Global Minnesota event. And with that, thank you again. We really appreciate your presentation today, and it's being recorded. So I'll let you know when it's on the website, and maybe you can, if you want to view it, we'll allow you to view it. So thank you everyone for joining us, and I hope that everyone has a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thanks, Paulina.
Paulina and Amalia.
Well,
Have a
Thank
great
you very
weekend.
much.
Thank you.
Happy weekend.
have a good evening.
Good weekend.
Someday
Bye-bye.
we're probably gonna come visit you, Paulina.
Well, if LDI Mexico, I hear that they might be holding their next LDI Flavors of Mexico in Baja California. So we may be close to Paulina.
You're more than welcome to come here.
But Paulina is telling me that vaccinations are not going to happen until 2022.
Yeah.
Is what they
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry about that. I'm so
Oh.
sorry.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing in my country. You know, it's very slow,
Yeah.
a very slow system. So I don't know when I'm gonna be able to see my family because of that.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Our son lives in Haiti and he works for the State Department there at the embassy.
Okay.
And in Haiti, he's vaccinated, but the Haitian people are not.
Yeah,
There's just not a good medical system there.
yeah.
And there's also superstition that about what the vaccine might do, even though we know it's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's
Here,
a
here too.
here in the States too.
That's right.
Yeah.
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 So thank you everyone again, and I hope you have a good evening. Buen provecho.
You too. Bye. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to everyone, and happy
Happy
cooking.
Mother's Day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you, Paulina.